The wit that won hearts. In 16th century, the Vijayanagara Empire commanded immense wealth and stood as a global cultural powerhouse. At the helm was King Krishnadeva Raya, a fierce warrior, a brilliant poet, and a ruler who guided the region into a celebrated golden age. The king surrounded himself with the Ashtadiggajas, a council of 8 great poets who pushed the empire's literacy achievements to new heights. But in a court where your word is law, the boundary between being a great leader and being infallible begins to blur. When every whim is treated as a command, even the smallest human reaction can be weighed down by the heavy gravity of royal pride. Late one evening, the king was enthusiastically reciting his latest highly abstract poem to Queen Tirumalamba. Exhausted from a long and grueling day at the palace, the queen committed an involuntary biological fox pass. She yawned. The king did not see a tired spouse. He saw a calculated, deeply personal insult to his artistry. He immediately cut off all communication with the queen. The formerly vibrant royal palace plunged into gloomy, isolated silence. The queen was desperate to make amends, but the rigid hierarchy of the court meant no one could tell the king he was overreacting. She turned to the court poet Tenali Rama. Rama didn't rush to the king's chamber to argue her case. Instead, he asked for time to develop a specific plan. In a kingdom where the king cannot be told he is wrong, Rama knew he would have to lead the monarch to that conclusion himself. The next morning, the royal court the royal court the royal court was bursting and beautifully decorated. But beneath the ceremony, the king's lingering anger was obvious to everyone present. The day's agenda centered on a mundane debate among the ministers over technical methods to local rice paddy cultivation. While the ministers bickered over irrigation and manure supplies, Tenali Rama sat quietly in the corner, a slight smile on his face, waiting for the right moment to speak. Rama sat through hours of administrative talk, waiting for a single word or a specific topic that he could pull like a thread to unveil the king's resolve. The king finally called on Rama. Rama stood up and presented a plate of magic seeds, claiming they would yield a harvest 3 times the normal size. The crowd erupted in mockery. The king, already irritable, dismissed the claim as absolute nonsense. Rama calmly explained that the seed carried a catch. They could only sprout if the person planting them did not yawn while working. Facing down the skeptical court, Rama offered a simple defense. A yawn is a natural breathing. Since it's impossible to suppress, finding a farmer to plant the seeds was the real challenge. By forming the argument around the agriculture, Rama had tricked the king into loudly defending the idea that yawning is an uncontrollable, innocent human reflex. Rama locked eyes with the king and asked the final question. Is there a single person in the world who never yawns? The agriculture debate suddenly collapsed. The king was forced to see his own logic reflected back at him. Landing squarely on the memory of the previous night, the tension broke. As the court laughed at the absurdity of the seeds, the king himself involuntarily yawned, and his rigid posture finally softened. The king didn't been defeated by a lecture. He had been reminded of his own humanity through the very logic he just used to mock Rama. The king went straight to the bride and asked her to forgiveness. The queen accepted his apology immediately, and the palace was once again filled with the life and laughter that had been missing. Rama's legendary wit was more than just a talented for jokes. It was a precise understanding of how to use a person's own perspective to change their heart. In any era, direct confrontation often fails against stubborn pride. To truly change a mind, you have to let the other person discover the truth for themselves. Thank you.